This exuberance around Bitcoin seems to be about institutional access, whether or not we get a spot Bitcoin ETF. Where do you think that really works for the ecosystem at large?
Thank you again for having me. So seeing this turn is exciting, although I'm cautiously optimistic. I think that there have been several like Schrodinger's cats in crypto. Like, is it dead? Is it alive? And one of those has been the Bitcoin ETF. Like, is it dead? Is it alive? And I think we're turning a corner as I knock on all of the wood that it might finally actually be happening, which would be huge, if not the largest impact that could be had on institutional adoption. And the second Schrodinger's cat was Binance. Like, people were worried about Binance, what was there, what wasn't there, what was going to happen, what wasn't going to happen. And I think what we saw happen a few weeks ago was like minimal impact on the space. So I think so those are two huge unknowns that I think are now becoming known in a positive way. So that's exciting for the space.
Morgan, earlier in the show, Caroline and I were talking about how, when Bitcoin goes up, publicly traded crypto-related stocks also go up, either because it's like a proxy for exposure if you're not invested in a digital currency, or it's a logic where, well, if Bitcoin's doing well, that's the thing that underpins all of those companies, so they do well as well. Spin that forward to the VC context. Is Bitcoin being up good for you when you decide, okay, I'm going to invest here, here, or there?
I like to think that I stay sober enough that it doesn't matter, but in reality, it probably does affect mine and others' psyches. I think I've said this on the show before, but for me, there's always three questions, which is: one, is this company solving a problem for anyone? Two, is anyone using this thing? And three, is this product or company making money or has any potential to make money? And when you look at the history of crypto and crypto startups and blockchain companies, there's very few that actually check all three of those boxes, let alone one or two. And Bitcoin is one of the few use cases that is, checks all of those boxes and is real, and is definitely a case study for potentially other investments. But at the seed stage, I try to not look at the price of Bitcoin when
what you look at is probably the general energy of building in the seed stage right now. And to that end, amid what has been termed yet another crypto winter, has the building still been going? Have there been problems that are being solved in this time where we could stop just talking about prices and actually look at what fundamentally is being built?
Building is still going. When the market was nuts, you had what my partner James calls the fruit flies coming in. So the founders who thought it was just like, the sexiest accessory to have a crypto company and thought overnight they would be worth a lot on paper. And what the market cooling down did is it filtered those founders out. So now you really only have founders coming in who really, really care, or who actually have a problem to solve. So in a weird way, the bear market's very nice because it automatically applies a filter, at least to the top of the funnel of startups, that isn't necessarily there in a bull market.
Morgan, bigger picture, we've had a lot of guests on the show that criticize the US as a regulatory environment or a market environment to foster the underlying technology, let's say blockchain in this instance. Your view on that?
I am proud to be an American. However, I do wish that crypto regulation was a bit more founder friendly than it currently is. To bring back my Schrodinger's cat analogy, which I think still applies here, there are a lot of unknowns or fears or concerns about which way various regulatory bodies can go on various regulatory topics in crypto that are scaring founders away from starting companies in the US. And if there was more clarity in one direction or another, that would limit the amount of guessing or fear that was required to start a company. I think that would be a lot more conducive to founders, specifically starting companies in this space in the United States.